Welcome to our financial freedom overview, where we're talking about how to help families build better futures. And so, if you'll follow through, we want you to consider these three questions. Do you know someone who can benefit from what we're talking about today? Can this information help you and your family and your friends financially? And are you intrigued by the business that we do? So, we represent World Financial Group, and our mission is to help families from all walks of life build better futures. We have strength on our side, backed by the international company Aegon. I'd encourage you to look them up. Furthermore, backed by Transamerica, one of the largest companies in America for over 100 years, founded by the same person that founded Bank of America. I challenge you to go and figure out his name. I know it pretty well and love his life story. You'll be intrigued as well. We also have strength and selection. So these are just a few. Everyone knows the Nationwide is on your side, Voya, AIG, but we're independent, and so we're not limited in any area. We just wanted to show you a few names that we work with, though we don't have to work with anyone exclusively, which is really exciting about what we do. It's just the expansion to be able to meet your family's needs and help them with the solutions that they need. And so what we understand is that we want to leave no family left behind. Family A, middle America, typically earning $100,000 or less, typically working on a job. Primarily that income comes from a job. They have a 401k plan. Maybe they own term life insurance. Typically they rent, and you can see the list. I want to point your attention to the bottom of that list, and it's just the majority of the population. And so what we specialize in is WFG is reaching middle America and pointing them to a totally different lifestyle. A lifestyle where they begin to take control of their own futures, where they begin to plan, invest, and strategize for generations ahead. And so typically we have a different segment in America, and that segment is called Wealthy America. And if you look at the list, they typically earn more. They're earning their income in a different way. They have a different type of protection. They live in different places, and this is a very small percentage of the population. The truth of the matter is it all comes down to a plan. Wealthy America is functioning on a plan, and we want to help people with that. And so we talk about the four cornerstones of any financial situation or any financial portfolio, and that's protection, growth, safety, and tax advantages. And we'll get into each of those really briefly here. First and foremost, proper protection. Just a few that we list up top: disability, long-term care, retirement. Do you have retirement insurance? Will you run out of money someday is a question we typically help our clients with. And then, of course, life insurance, which is just the basic fundamental need. And because it's a basic fundamental need, it can be confused. And so we come in to take that confusion away. And so we ask the question, what type of life insurance is right for you? Is it term? Are we looking to cover you for a low cost, but an extended set period of time, so that you can have what you need for your children, the education expenses going forward? Is it permanent? Are you looking for permanent insurance to do some of the same things, but also receive some of the tax benefits and maybe even rolling that into a disability, long-term care, retirement package, which permanent insurance can do? And so we explain the differences and we lay it out, and our clients choose. That's the greatest part about what we do. We teach our clients about the eighth wonder of the world, quoted by Albert Einstein, and that is compound interest. He took that huge algorithm and he condensed it into a simple rule that is called the rule of 72. And in that rule, if you take any percentage that you're earning on your money or not earning on your money, and you divide it by 72, that will tell you the number of years that it takes for your money to double. And so let's just look at 4%. Just as one example, we know we get less than 1% at the bank, but let's look at 4%. That money divided into 72 is 18. So it takes 18 years for a person investing $10,000 at age 29 to double their money. So it will double twice in their lifetime if they add nothing else to it. And then we show people how to get close to guarantees on 6%. So you can see your money's doubling with guarantees at 6% 4 times by the time a person is 65. And then if you look at 10%, which is really the overall average of any investor, very attainable. Just need a little some professional help and seeking how to do that. It doubles every 7.2 years, and you can see the difference and why we need to invest at the highest percentages as early as possible. And typically, looking at this chart, we read from left to right, but I'd encourage you when it comes to money to look at this from right to left. To look at when you get paid, whatever it is, whether you're a small business owner or an employee or big business owner, where does your money go first? Does it hit the bank account at 1%? Or is it already spreading out and going to the places that it needs to go? And so that's one of the things we help our families with. In addition to that, we talk about the different options. How does your money grow? How would you like your money to grow? And so we point out the fixed option, and that's the option where you have CDs, bonds, savings accounts, not a lot of growth, but not a lot of risk. And then you got the variable market. Most of us are exposed to the ups and downs of the stock market because most of us are employees and we have either a 403B or 401k, and you're investing in mutual funds and your IRA. And so if the market goes up, you're going up. Most people, though, do not understand the index strategy. And the index strategy allows your money to grow when the market grows. You get to participate in the growth. When the market goes down, you get locked in at whatever your final level was. And so how would you like your money to grow? Well, you can do one of 3, but the truth is, in your lifetime, you're going to have a combination of all 3. What I want to help people understand is that I want to focus on what I consider the best option first and then work my way back, if that makes any sense. Similar to what we talked about when it comes to earning on your money, we don't want to work our way up. We want direct deposit from our paycheck. We want to do the same thing when it comes to the place that our money grows, okay? And so when we look at that, we want to be able to understand market risk, to be able to understand that $100 given to you to invest, and if you went out, you didn't do a great job, you lost 50%, you would have $50, correct? Well, one would think that with the $50, if you look at the middle column on this page, if I made the 50% back, I would get back to what's called break even. I'll have my $100 again. Well, that's not true. You would only have $75. So when you lose 50%, looking at that column all the way on your right, you literally have to get a 100% gain in order to get back to break even. So the question is how much money can you afford to lose in order to be able to get to a 100% gain? And so we try to minimize losses in order to continue to maximize gains. And we show people how to be able to do that. And then we take a look at taxes as a part of our overall strategy. And so when you look at tax now, we break it down into 3 different categories: CDs, savings accounts, bank accounts, any brokerage accounts that are earning money out there, trading stocks, and a non-retirement account. You're going to be taxed within the same year. We call that tax now. When it comes to being taxed later, you're deferring tax. You understand that by making contributions either to a 401k or an IRA, you can reduce your current tax liability, the taxes you pay today. But if and when the 401k grows, let me give you an example of a 401k. We hit our dream 401k. We worked for 35 years. We saved likely, and we have $1 million. Well, today's tax rate for an earner at that level is right around 40%. And so you have a tax bill at that time of 40% that is due. And so we want to plan around that by focusing on using tax advantage investments as we grow up the mountain. So with our tax money, pay taxes, we got some tax advantage, but we also have some tax now, some savings accounts, and it's a combination of the 3 that we get to sit down and help people with. Very simple. Some things you can't avoid, and it's not a lot of buckets to choose from, but we go into all of these areas in our primary service to anybody that we meet with, and that's our financial needs analysis. We have 6 steps to financial independence. We understand cash flow, the emergency fund, and debt management as a huge part of getting to the next step of focusing on proper protection and then building wealth and then preserving wealth and thinking about how I'm going to leave that as a family legacy. That's our primary product. It is the individual who is able to objectively look at a person's situation, put themselves in that person's shoes, and then put a plan together and then actually walk them through the plan. And so at this point in time, we're looking for people to help us do this and accomplish this mission. There are simply not enough people in the industry who are willing to take the time to help people with it. Now, it's one of the best businesses in the world because as you can see, just looking at this chart alone, in 1946, there's a group of people right below that, the baby boomer generation. 78 million people were born during the post-World War II baby boom. That's roughly between 1946 and 1964. And what happened is 9 out of 10 families came home from the war in a boom time. Suburban America is expanding, and they had an average of 4 children each. And so baby food, in the name of Gerber, went from a small company to a major company. Toys like Mattel and Monopoly became major distributors of toys. Fast food came on the scene. It's the invention of McDonald's and some of those other companies that came along the line because we needed food fast to feed our entire families. And then remember the 57 Chevy, the 64 Impala is one of my favorites during that time. And now even having those same cars and the Challenger and the Charger and those Chevrolets being sold back to the same group of people, that baby boomer generation has really driven the economy in America. Up into the 80s when real estate was in the teens, to purchase a home, you could get, if you got a 15% interest rate, you were getting a deal at some point in time in the 80s. And now that group of people is retiring. And ultimately, they're leaving that money to 112 million people born between 1965 and 1994. Generation X and the millennials. And so there's the greatest transfer of wealth ever taking place in this generation. And we need people on hand, both for the baby boomer generation, but also for that Generation X and millennial movement to be able to help people move through it. And so the state of the industry is nearly half of all existing financial advisors are over the age of 55. And so they plan to retire. Nearly 1/3 will retire in the next decade. So it's leaving an estimated of 200,000 advisors in a shortfall by the year of 2022. So we need help. We got a great opportunity. We don't require any experience. You actually get to try this out part-time. No one makes money because you joined or signed up. This is true leadership development. It is a mentoring business model where everybody can succeed. And we teach people basically how to earn $50,000 a year part-time. And so as an associate, which is your first level outside of training, you can see the average or the potential, let me say it that way, per month at just under $4,000 and then per year. And if you look at the senior marketing director, which is somebody that not only decided to help 4 families per month or 1 family per week to earn that kind of income. I want to go back to that really quick. As an associate, if you can learn how to help 1 family a week, you can earn $4,000 a year. That's why we call it part-time. If you're a leader and you have leadership skills, I want you to look down to that second column where it says 15,000 and then scroll back to your left. A senior marketing director leading a 5-person organization. That means that person helps 1 family per week and they teach 5 others to do the same thing. As an organization, that's the type of income that is on display. And from there, as you begin to promote senior marketing directors, you can see the EMD level averages and the highest income, the CEO average, and then the highest income, and the EVC average, and then the highest income. The thing about it is these things are actually being paid out. Personal income, agency income, expansion income, bonus income, and recurring or residual income, all built into a simple system that says, let's go out and help people understand what they're doing with their money. I'm telling you, I couldn't be more excited about sharing this information with you. We have recognition, events, trips to Hawaii, our convention in Orlando, and then another convention in Las Vegas, rings, watches, as I said earlier. And so what are your next steps? We would love to sit down with you to go through a complimentary financial needs analysis, but we also like you to consider being a full or a part-time business owner with us. Let us train you. And so I'll close with these final 3 questions once again. Consider WFG. Do you know of anyone who could benefit from this message? Can this information help you, your family, and your friends financially? Are you intrigued by what you just heard? We would love to follow up with you. Please get in contact with the person who invited you to this particular webinar. We are helping families build better futures. We are crusading, and we are taking our futures into our own hands. So thank you. And I will leave you with this, an awesome video that should you choose to stay online for the next 6 minutes or so will really bless you. It was done by Steve Harvey, and I'd encourage you to listen in.
I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to tell you something that every successful person has to do, including you. Believe it or not, every successful person in this world has jumped. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You are going to have to jump. You cannot just exist in this life. You have got to try to live. If you're waking up thinking that there's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. Believe in your heart of hearts that it is. But to get to that life, you're going to have to jump. I'll tell you why I call it jumping. See, God, when he created all of us, he gave every last one of us a gift at birth. He never created a soul without endowing them with a gift. You just got to quit looking at gifts as run and jump and sing and dance. It's more than that. It's if you know how to network, if you can connect dots, if you draw, if you teach. Some of y'all fry chicken better than anybody else, bake pie. Some of you cut hair, color hair. Some people do grass. I got a partner, man, who never wanted to go out with us because we stayed out too late. Come on, man, go out with me. Now I got to get up early, mom, cutting Miss Johnson's grass. We kept laughing at this dude, cutting grass. How much they pay you? He got a landscaping company in Cleveland worth $4 million. Because all he do is cut grass. But he was gifted at it. I got a partner on a detail shop, make $800,000 a year detailing cars. He got 6 mobile trucks running around. $800,000 a year. All he do is detail cars. That's his gift. That's what he loves to do. You've got to identify that gift. Now listen to me. When you see people in life, when you're standing on the cliff of life and you see people soaring by, when you see people soaring, going to exotic places, you hear about them doing wonderful things. Maybe you look up the street and your neighbor just gets a car every year and every 2 years. You know, how is he doing that? Have you ever thought, maybe this person right here has identified their gift and is living in their gift? Because your Bible says, your Bible says your gift will make room for you. Your gift, not your education. You go get an education, that's nice. But if you don't use your gift, that education only gonna take you so far, man. I know a lot of people got degrees, man, and they ain't even using them. It's your gift. But the only way for you to soar is you got to jump. You got to take that gift that's packed away on your back. You got to jump off that cliff and pull that cord. That gift opens up and provides the soil. If you don't ever use it, you're going to just go to work. And if you're getting up going to work on a job every day that you hate going to, that ain't living, man. You just existing. At one point in time, you ought to see what living's like. But the only way to see what living like, you got to jump. And here's the problem. Let me just be real with you. When you first jump, let me tell you something. Your parachute will not open right away. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you it did, but it don't. When you jump, it's not going to open right away. You're going to hit them rocks. You're going to get some skin tore off on them cliffs. You're going to get all your clothes tore off. You're going to get some cuts on you. You're going to be bleeding pretty bad. But eventually, the parachute has to open. That is a promise of God. That ain't a theory. That's a promise. His promises is true, because listen to me. You cannot name one single thing God has not gotten you through. Name it. And if he ain't got you through it, he currently pulling you through it right now. And the living proof of it is you sitting in here. If he hadn't got you through it, you wouldn't even be here. So if he ain't never not got you through it, why would he not let your parachute open? It has to open, man. But you got to jump, though. Now, here's another thing. You can play it safe and deal without the cuts and the tears. And you can stand on that cliff of life forever safe. But if you don't jump, I got another promise I can make you. Your parachute will never open. You'll never know. You'll never know what God really has for you. See, your God has a wonderful life for you. Once again, I'm going to refer to your Bible. Now, you go down there, you memorize these scriptures, you're going to apply them to yourself. Your Bible says that he comes to give you life and give you life more abundantly. If I were you, I would jump. Because that's the only way to get to that abundant life. You got to jump, man. You got to take a chance. Now, when I get through talking, there are those of you who discuss this in the car. Well, I got bills, and I got bills. Whether you stay on the cliff or you jump, you're going to have bills. Well, if I quit my job, I'm going to ruin my credit. If you got a job, you live in check to check. Even if you got A1 credit, you can't buy nothing else no damn way. At one point in time, man, do yourself a favor. Go see what God really do. God hold you up, man. He ain't going to let you fall. He ain't bring you this far and let you fall. Do yourself a favor, man. Before you leave this world, before you die, jump. Just jump one time. Just jump. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all for coming. Talk to you soon.